What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the hoetohusbandpodcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran. I got both of my co-hosts on the line with me tonight. I got my man, Jay Bavo, with me. What's good, man?
Not much, man. Looking forward to chopping up with you fellas as always. But want to quickly remind you, you can catch us on TikTok as well. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Hold Husband Podcast. And for those interested in shout-outs or promos, you can shoot us a DM on IG at Hold Husband Podcast, as well as email us at holdhusbandpodcast@gmail.com. All right, T.
I also have the man SD in the building. What's up, bro?
Nothing, man. I'm so excited. It's fantasy football time. You know, we got a draft coming up on what day is your draft again? It's the 4th?
My draft is on the 4th, yeah.
All right. So I'm real excited about that. Ready to get this here show on the road. But first, let's give a shout out to Brother Soul Productions for always keeping the background audio fresh. And I want to remind you all to donate to the Hold a Husband podcast on Cash App and PayPal. All right, T.
I want to remind everybody, y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on thecore94.com. Tonight's episode is titled Single, Not Lonely. And we're just going to be having a discussion about relationship status and something I like to call the curse of the options. But y'all know how we do around here, man. We like to start things off by discussing stuff that we've seen either trending or on our timelines. So we got a couple of interesting videos to discuss this week. This first video is a video where a lady's talking about the research she did about the pickiness comparing men and women. Let's take a look.
Survey where men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that? And women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled, that's a catch. And so
80% of the women you surveyed is settling?
That's settling because, the question is, what actually makes us happy in long-term romantic love? And, that's the question that I explore in the book. And I'm a journalist, so I went out and I asked neurobiologists about chemistry, and I asked behavioral economists about demographics, and I asked marital researchers.
What are women too picky about here?
Well, I'll tell you, men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date. And men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind. And she has to be interesting to talk to. Those seem like really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner. And they wouldn't do it. And there were things like he wore a brown belt with black shoes.
Now, it's funny to kind of hear that put into statistics and data that women can't refute. But I don't think that really surprises anybody that talks to women. Like, if you just sit and listen and talk to women about some of the reasons they curve guys or some of the things that they deem a guy undateable, it makes sense why so many women self-sabotage their dating experiences and are single. So, but it's very astonishing to see that 3 versus 300. So women literally have 100 times more complaints or reasons to disqualify a guy than men. That's kind of crazy.
It don't surprise me one bit, because we see it all the time on social media, and it has happened to me personally, where
Balloons
a woman
popping.
has, I'm talking about where a woman has told me that she couldn't date me because of my birthday.
What?
A woman who we exchanged phone numbers. We talked for like 2 days. And I want to say maybe the 3rd day or whatever, 2nd day. I can't remember.
That's
she said,
crazy.
when is your birthday? I said, oh, my birthday is March 15th. A Pisces? And I was like, maybe. I don't know. I don't keep up with it. Oh, no. I can't date no Pisces because they this and that. And I'm like, I thought she was joking. I'm like, yeah, I kind of blew it off. And she was like, no, I'm serious. And then, but this here, you got to remember, this was almost 10 years ago. Now, look at social media and all of the things that's posted about signs and that come from women, because more women do this than men. Men don't really pay that stuff no attention, where they ain't gonna talk to a chick because she's hot. But these here women, they won't talk to a dude because they talk to two Sagittariuses out of all the guys. And you know, I did the math. Out of all the signs, there's 14 roughly. Let's just say if we even them all out, 14 million men per sign. These chicks will date 2 and then say, I can't date no more of them because they like this and like that. So it don't surprise me, man, one bit. And that's just one example. I probably got 10 others where I've been told, hey, you too light skinned. I really, I tried, I thought about it, but I really want somebody darker because I want darker kids. And I'm like, lady, I wasn't even gonna cream pie you. I don't even know why we even talking about kids. Like, I know, as long as esophaguses can't get pregnant. Yeah, esophaguses can't get pregnant. That's what I was thinking. So, but I'm just saying, man, I've been curved for a lot of different things. Jay, let me ask you something, or Terry, even though you've been married for a long time, like, what's the craziest thing that you have heard or that a woman has said to you where she curved a guy?
Man, I'll use myself as one. SD, you're gonna laugh at this one. So, talking to a chick, she like every other quality, right? The one deal breaker, you're gonna laugh at this one, SD, was wearing cologne. I kid you not. Because I think she was like a vegan or something, and the stuff, the product they use. So it was like a deal breaker for her that she couldn't get past.
Terry,
Man, I've spoken to so many women, I can't think of nothing off the top of the dome. But I remember being curved for stupid reasons, like you said. And I remember how foolish I felt when I learned the lesson of not trying to convince a chick to like you or to convince a girl to date you. And so some of the reasons that women would give would be so stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when you just look at some of the, first I thought they were extreme situations where like a woman will fall in love with a dude in jail, or so, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's consistent where the jail workers are fucking, you know what I'm saying, smashing the inmates and this and that and that. Like, women, but as I got older, I learned that if you can talk to a chick and if she's giving you that attention and you can make her feel good while she's giving it to you, man, you can talk a chick into almost anything.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's when you actually sit back and you listen to women and the relationship problems that they have and why so many of them are single, it's really a lot of times because of them and the decision making. Yeah, like this is why back in the day, you used to have to bring guys to your dad or a man, and the man be like, yeah, that's a good dude, no, that ain't a good dude, whatever. And even further back than that, they used to pick the man for the women. Because we see that so many of these here women are horrible at doing it for themselves because they let their feelings take over, right? And so their feelings take over, and now they gonna talk to the dude over here because he got muscles. He ain't got nothing else going for himself, but he got muscles. The other dude over here, he got his master's degree, he got this, he got that, but he a little nerdy. She'll leave him alone, go pop out a baby or two with this dude, then try to get with the nerd that's making $300,000 later on and wonder why she can't do it. Like, you curved him because he wore glasses. Now you want him 15 years later and want him to be a stepdaddy. Like, this is your fault that you are single at 38 years old right now with 2 kids. But this is your fault.
You know what it is though? I think just kind of the way the dating arena is set up has something to do with it. Because I think a lot of females focus on what they don't like about guys. Like they're looking for a reason to hit the fail button. And from a guy perspective, it's kind of the opposite. We like in a lot of ways, guys can be delusional and overlook major things because they focus on what they like about a woman, compared to paying attention to the negatives or the red flags or whatnot. So I think that's kind of reflected in what we saw in the video where, I mean, to think of 300 reasons to not go on a second date, you know what I mean? Like, I can understand having a bad dating experience, but
so it's like you just find any old reason. And mind you, majority of those reasons are very trivial reasons of why you wouldn't go on a second date. Like, you know, like you said, it's one thing if you had a bad experience, maybe, you know, he ain't looked the part, he was coming in looking raggedy or something like that, you know, I can understand it. But you just, you know, I ain't like the way he smiled or something silly like that.
I mean, well, the reality is you could meet a woman at a random setting. And sometimes, you know, I understand first impressions play a lot into how you perceive people, but a lot of women will permanently disqualify a guy over something like that. So they'll have this permanent memory of they brother's best friend as Dusty because the first time he came over he didn't have a haircut. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like something totally stupid that makes no sense as an adult, but she will ignore him and curve him even as he was in college, even as he became a man, over something really stupid like that, like how she saw him a long time ago. Oh man, we call him, you know what I'm saying? Like, I stopped really trying to give women advice when I hear them explain their dating process.
Fellas, real quick question for both of y'all, man. Do y'all watch that? Was that Pop the Balloon on YouTube or seen the clips of that, man?
Yeah, I've seen
it. You see these women, when they pop that balloon, it'd be like a lot of things we just said here, it'd be for those very reasons. It'd just be like the silliest things. Like you said, like, because when you said the haircut thing, it was some of that. So when she popped the balloon because of that.
Yeah, but listen to this real quick. This is a question that I always ask myself, right?
Yeah.
When women have these here things, right? How in the world do you keep a woman happy? How? Because even without all of these here types of things, when you talk to women, their minds, their moods and their emotions go so many places during a day. Like it's happy, it's sad, it's irritated, it's frustrated. Yeah, so then it's like, man, well, if your moods and all of this stuff changes on your own by yourself, how in the world does a man now enter into your life and actually keep you happy if you got 300 things he gotta do just to go on a second date with you? Like it's just something, man, that the happy life, happy wife, happy life stuff, like it's really a
rhetoric.
It's really
all rhetoric.
SD, didn't you do a survey on this? Like how many different emotions a woman has in a day? How many different emotions a man? I was doing a survey on that one time.
I gotta find it. And most of them voted like 4 to 8 different emotions during the daytime. And I'm like, how in the world does a man meet you and keep you happy when you're doing this by yourself?
See, a man, fellas, never make that your mission to try to keep a woman happy. No. Like a person's happiness, that's an internal thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like now you can impact the environment. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to play your part and make sure that you are operating within the agreed upon, you know, confines of the relationship to where she's not feeling disrespected or there's not, you know, that constant feeling of violation where a comfort zone, I guess, for lack of a better term. Like as long as you're doing that, then what make her happy? She needs to have a hobby. She needs to have a passion. Like if you put yourself in a position where you're trying to constantly be somebody's happiness, you are on a dummy mission. You know what I mean? Like you should be providing stability. You know what I'm saying? Like you should always be from a male perspective, if you a solid dude, you should always be able to come with a logical, reasonable, rational perspective on just about anything. And then, you know, expressing your love or interest in a woman comes naturally for the guys that, well, I can't say it come naturally, it's a skill, but that's something that we desire to do anyway. You know what I mean? Let's keep these rolling, man. This next video is a video that I can really resonate with. It was a video of a famous couple talking about a point where they were ready to divorce, but they were too broke to do so. Let's take a look.
The temptation for me would have been, I'm more tempted to leave because I know I can survive on my own.
Yeah.
Right? There were times that we stayed together because we couldn't survive without each other. This is the truth. It won't love. It won't, it was like, dang, I can't afford to leave. We're going to have to work it out.
We stuck.
And throughout that time, we just fell back in love.
Yeah.
But there were times where we absolutely were not in love with each other. We loved each other, but being in love is completely different.
Yes.
There were times we did not like each other. There was times that you wouldn't even know we was married.
Yep. Walking by each other.
But we could not afford to leave each other.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, you couldn't even afford to be tempted.
Man, that's real. That reminds me of kind of like how I felt after my first year of well, I guess it was around the first or second year. This was the time where I talked about it all the time, where I actually went and cheated. But I was so frustrated with my sex life and the complications of being married and whatnot. But we couldn't afford to get divorced. At the time, her car was broke down, so I was letting her drive my car. And so, me being a good dude, I'm still thinking about her best interest. I'm like, man, I can't just be like, I'm divorcing you and take my car back and leave her stranded and all that. So, but what they said about falling out of love and your feelings fluctuating, that's real. You know what I mean? Like, you grow as you have kids and different things in life come and happen. You change and you grow as people. But as long as you have that common ground or that common desire, where y'all have a purpose, y'all have a family, y'all have a common goal of maintaining a household or the desire to actually be married, those are the things that kind of get you through those low points. So it was really interesting to hear a celebrity couple talking about it.
Yeah, man. I've seen a lot of folks go through divorces. And one thing I learned is that divorces are expensive, especially for the man. Especially for the man bed on the front end and sometimes for years and years on end after that. But, people don't take into account, and most times it's the women filing for these divorces. And what they don't take into account is now, even though you may get something, most times, you know what I'm saying? You may get something, but now you have to also make up on your end what you're going to be missing and now work and do everything on your own. So if you actually look at the statistics of who suffers more after divorce, it's actually women. Financially, they suffer more because now the guy, he probably grew up like that. He scales back a lot of things. He cool with that. Man, like, hey, whatever. I don't need a Benz. I'll drive a Prius. I'll drive a Corolla.
Build back up.
Save his money, and now he build his stuff back up, and now he good. Whereas the women, a lot of times, they don't really work like that according to the statistics. They actually digress and go backwards when it comes to their finances. But now they have to do everything else on their own, and are typically not happy with that. But when a woman files for divorce for any old reason, I don't even care. I laugh at her. It's funny to me. So, but I'm glad this couple worked they thing out though, because they got a really good podcast, and they got it seemed like they chemistry and all of that stuff is really genuine with each other, after working through that issue. So kudos to them. And Terry, you too, man, for sticking it out, because that's really what it is. When you talk to a lot of married people, they talk about that sometimes it's a struggle. Sometimes you ain't gonna really like each other like that. Sometimes you're gonna be wanting to go. But any relationship is gonna have struggles, trials, and tribulations. And that's when it's really, when you really tested to see if you meant them vows that you said while you were standing in that church.
True. No question about it. And it's good to see that they work through, like we said, a celebrity couple, because, most of the time we think everything's all good when we see it. We don't know until after the fact. And it's just great how they, was able to put this in the context. And I think y'all remember, what was the video several years back with Tabitha Brown said she helped him quit his job and everything like that to fulfill his dream. Remember when Wendy Williams made like a big thing of that one? So, man, this is just good to see it here.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to have a public relationship. You know what I mean? Like people are all in your business, and you know, sharing your ups and downs with the world. You know, come with consequences.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, you know, tapered back on my, you know, social media presence because my daughter ain't 4 no more. You know what I'm saying? She's a teenager and stuff show up on her feed and show up on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like I can't even really imagine where like both people have a following or celebrity status. I can imagine the turmoil and the stress that puts on people. Um, because man, one argument all it take is, you know, you could have an argument and your child could be going live at the, you know what I'm saying, like just on some spur of the moment type stuff, and it could really change how the public perceive you and your spouse.
Yeah, that's why it's important, man, to keep, you know, I just seen a video the other day. I posted it on my page where the man was talking about talking with his wife because her ex-husband died. And the wife grieved so much about it that he felt some type of way about it. He was and they wanted him to explain this. It was on a podcast. I can't remember. I got it on my that I posted. And I looked at the comments, right? And all of the women on there was insulting and vilifying him for feeling like he did because his wife grieved so much. And turns out
It wasn't like a whole year or something.
Yeah, but she kept this dude, she kept her ex-husband as a best friend. He was her bestie after they divorced. And so she got married again. And when she grieved over that, the new husband was like, man, she grieves more for her ex-husband than she did her sister when her sister died. And he had a problem with it, and he was expressing it because he was frustrated and probably angry over it. The women were in the comments saying, you need to leave this.
You already know.
He's jealous. He did. And I'm thinking, man, if a woman comes on here and see this type of stuff, like this is why you keep that type of stuff to me off of social media, because the influence that social media can have
Toxic.
on your relationship, especially on your woman a lot of time who's a lot more easily influenced emotionally like that by other women, man, it could be tragic for y'all.
SD, it was I don't know if you saw this one. It was like a similar one, but they're kind of like in reverse. There was a man, he was married, but his ex-girlfriend was basically on her deathbed. I think she had stage 4 cancer or something, and his wife had a problem with him seeing her. Basically, she was on her deathbed at that point. And
yeah, that's kind of awkward to be jealous of somebody that's dying, you know what I'm saying, or insecure over it. And I'm not saying it's natural for a man or a woman to grieve, but I can relate to this because my wife's, she only had one boyfriend before we got together, and he died in a tragic way. I think probably year 2 or 3 into our marriage, and so supporting her through that, like I didn't feel no type of way, you know what I'm saying? Like we were around his mother and his family, and I had been around them before, you know what I mean? Like for years leading up to that, me and him had saw each other. We never like had no conversations or whatnot, so it wasn't like no beef or nothing. But when he passed, it wasn't like no awkward thing because I wasn't tripping. Like I'm the one smashing her. Like that's the way I always felt. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how he felt towards me, but I wasn't mad about him.
But would you like? Let's just say, for the sake of it, you know, this here particular conversation from this here video, she kept him as a best friend.
Oh no, that's where
after they divorced.
That's where he went wrong.
I would have never married her.
I was just about to say, I would have never. We would never get to a serious stage with a chick that got a male bestie.
You know
what I mean? Especially one that used to suck your titty.
Your ex-husband.
Absolutely
your ex-husband. Like, so to me, that is more of an indictment on the husband than having, you know what I'm saying, like what they're roasting him over. I had to be looking at dude like, I can't really respect dudes like that. Like there's certain stuff like it's just a hard no. You know what I mean? Like
you put up with it. You put up with it all this time. You know what I mean? You knew it was going on. You knew that was her bestie, and you married her anyway.
Enough to marry.
Yeah, you married her anyway. What you think she gonna do when her bestie dies? Like, come on, like that's just what it is. So you can't complain about it now.
I wonder. I wonder why they were married. You know, she would just talk glowingly about him or something. Like, listen, fellas, if a chick is talking, glowingly in a flattering about another man, that's not your woman.
Man,
Yeah, that's a wild situation. I can't even imagine a guy willingly, marrying a chick under those circumstances. But I digress, man. There are a lot of things that don't make sense to me. We're about to take a quick break, man. When we come back, we're gonna be getting into tonight's topic, single, not lonely, where we're talking about relationship status and the curse of having options. You are tuned into the Ho to Husband podcast, and we'll be back in a minute.
Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read, or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ho to Husband podcast. Tonight's episode is titled Single, Not Lonely. And we're going to be having a conversation about relationship status and the curse of having too many options. So I wanted to start the conversation off by asking y'all, like, one of the things that nobody ever talks about or really kind of prepares you for is on the dating scene. If you dating and you single, how do you handle the situation where you meet two people that you consider relationship material, or two people that you can really see yourself with? Is there a proper protocol or recommended way to go about that?
Well, my protocol is I see who got the best looking feet. And then I go, no, I'm joking.
I'll believe that too.
No, man, I'm
that
joking.
Could be the tiebreaker. That could be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, no, man. I would just, see who is more compatible with me. You know what I'm saying? Because until you actually get to talk to them and know them, kind of, you just think they're compatible or you think that, you would like to date them that way because of their look a lot of times. But once you actually break it down and get to know their character, how they handle their business, if they got kids, how they handle that, and be around them, then you can kind of weed out, who you would best line up with. Because it's going to be rare that you're going to have two women that's just right there neck and neck at you like that, where you're like, okay, they both real solid, they both this and that. Like, it's gonna be rare that you're gonna have both of that, them two things. So I just got to get to know them in order to say yeah or no, or differentiate. Jay, what you think?
For me, it's who do I connect with better. So it's not a matter of like who looks better. It's like, okay, because every experience with a woman is going to be different. Like no two experiences is going to be the same, right? So it's okay. Do I have a better conversation with this person than that person? And it honestly, even if it's two people that you really like, it's just really going to come down to little things like that there.
So do y'all have like a checklist on what y'all would consider a woman to be somebody that's qualified or as wife material to y'all?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? Back to that, like the first step to that is actually knowing yourself and knowing what works and what don't work for you. You have to understand you before you can try to understand anybody else and pick the right person, be it a man or a woman. For me, yes, I ain't gonna say a checklist, but it's things that I pay attention to. I pay attention to if you're really a feminine woman or not. Do you behave feminine? Do you talk feminine? Are you a little more passive? Are you agreeable? Are you cooperative? Do you have a submissive type of attitude? Not like you're a doormat and just can be ran over, but do you have a submissive attitude?
Contribute. I'm willing to help.
Where you support, a man in the way that you talk. Are you modest with how you dress? Are you modest with how you go outside and present yourself to the world? Do you hang out all the time? Because it's women that I know that are gorgeous women, and they outside every weekend, outside partying on the scene, almost 40 years old. And I'm like, I could never be with a woman like that, or be with a woman that wasn't feminine, or be with a woman that had a problem with the word submissive. So yes, I have a checklist, because I know that those types of women don't work well for me, and the type of man that I am, and the type of relationship that I want to have. So you have to start there, and then you start with yourself, and then you can start to really hone in on vetting the type of woman that you actually need that'll work well with you by the different criterias that you judge them by.
That's wise.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think in most situations though, if you dating multiple people, whatnot, and you meet somebody or more than one people that you actually like, the usual common denominator is you're usually a person that has a lot of success dating. Being desirable, being someone that people like being around and going on dates with. Those are the things that lead to getting a lot of sex and the possibility of having multiple relationships. So those are the kind of from a male perspective, those are the signs that the guy has kind of developed the skill set to make himself desirable to women over time. Because anybody can do it, those first couple conversations. But when you've been talking to a chick for months and she's been seeing you, how you move for months at a time, that's where the guys that are really solid kind of separate themselves from the fuck boys and the other dudes. Because it's hard to fake the funk for a long time like that. You know what I mean? You have a lot more success if you just being honest about where you actually at and what you're trying to move forward and do. That's really attractive to a lot of women if you stay in your lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the perfect thing. But why do y'all think so many people, and I don't want to say so many people, I'm gonna say women, because I really don't hear dudes complaining about being posted publicly on social media. It's more women. Now y'all can correct me. Like, have y'all seen more women or men be upset about?
I see more women.
I see women reluctant to post they dude.
Really?
I think they want a dude to post them, but they kind of want the mystery behind who's they smashing or who's paying for their trips.
Yeah. Why you think that is? Why you think that is?
To make other women jealous. I think it's probably the primary reason. But I was about to say to not be embarrassed if somebody else he's smashing is in her comments or something like that.
I don't think that's it either.
What you think?
I think they try to hide it because they're afraid of other women going to him, seeing that, hey, yeah, he take me out, he do this. They like put them emojis over their face, cover up their tattoos, because they know that women are cutthroat, especially when it comes to a dude that's trying to treat a chick right, and she's showing all this stuff. These here women will backdoor you. They don't care nothing about you. Whereas the dude will backdoor you to try to smash your girl. The women will try to backdoor you to actually take your man from you and do other things. So I think that's more of it than anything, where they just want to have the mystery because they don't want women to really know who he is, so they can try to get to him too. Because truth be told, when women know that men got a woman and treat her well, they be on him trying to take him. That's why a lot of married men get so much play, from women, especially on social media.
But
And
SD, too, with that, there's a lot of times the psychology behind it, you want what you can't have. So it's like, he's not available. Well, damn, let me see if I can get him. I want him even more. Some women just like that challenge.
I just think that it's more of they see this dude and a woman. Women are really competitive like that. And if they want a good dude and they see, oh man, he's showing her off, he taking
He's
on
providing
trips,
a
blah, blah, blah,
lifestyle.
blah. Yeah, a lifestyle that a lot of guys can't provide. So the women be thinking, man, how can I get him to provide that lifestyle for me since I'm having trouble finding it out here? I could just take her man, Alicia Keys. I mean, it happens.
See, that's problematic because the women that are, dating and focus on that lifestyle, those are the things that lead them to make bad dating decisions, because there are a bunch of bad dudes that have a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like, illegal means of getting money seems to be a lot more lucrative than getting a 9 to 5 in a lot of cases. And so women that chase a specific lifestyle instead of looking for behaviors and characteristics in a man, the things that indicate that a man is going to be responsible, reliable, long term, that's the kind of guy that you want to start a family with or try to build a life with. And again, those type of guys start building that foundation at 13, 14, 15. So they're easy to spot for guys that already fit that description. They can spot them almost instantly. You know what I mean? Because it's very universal, the skill set and the type of behaviors or the type of lifestyle you have to live to be able to grind and do what it takes to be a man's man.
Yeah, and you can't chase lady. When you chase the lifestyle, you gotta take everything that come along with it.
Yep.
You gotta take everything that
Not
come
just the
along
good.
with it. Yeah, you want this dude that's a hustler. He's so ambitious. He out in the streets. He doing all that. Don't you think? Hey, he's just as ambitious about women too. You got to take the good with the bad. You just can't take pieces and parts of what you want and want him to slow down his ambitions when it come to coochie.
When it come to you.
No. Yeah, like
and that's kind of lead to the next question I wanted to bring up. Like the whole concept of relationship status. That's something that I think is largely driven by women, because I don't hear a lot of guys talking about that. Like the only status guys really care about is going from platonic to sexual, or platonic to romantic. Like whether we boyfriend and girlfriend or not, that's not really on the agenda for most guys. So I think the whole conversation or discussion about relationship status is really kind of like a passive aggressive way for women to get guys to agree to monogamy. Y'all agree or disagree with that theory?
I believe that women absolutely want that. Like that's their way to agree to it by getting into the relationship, because really when you get into that relationship, that's really what you're saying. You're gonna be with just her. And we all know that is the goal for most women when they talk to men. They'll try to manipulate it out of them. They'll try to hold sex away from out of them, hold head to try to get it out of them. So yeah, I agree with that. But I also think that when a dude really like a chick, he'll want to be in a relationship with her. 100%. He'll want to be called as man because he can claim her and she can claim him when he really own her like that. So yeah, I think that two things can be true at the same time.
No question. I think it's definitely to get the man to agree to be monogamous to her, especially if it's a man that she knows is dealing with other women, has options. She's gonna try to do everything in her power to get you to be with her and only her. Get you to spend more time with her. Because that cuts off your access to the other women that you're dealing with. And after a while, she's gonna be like, "Oh well, what are we doing here? What are we?"
Yeah, I mean, well. If things are progressing naturally, that's what's going to take place. Yep. If both parties are actually enjoying the experiences together, they're progressing from strangers to, like I said, to romance, or we headed to Pound Town.
Yeah.
Might not be there yet, but we progressing. I can see the light. You know what I'm saying? Like you're headed towards where guys want to go with it. Though that's enough to keep a guy motivated if he's attracted to you and he's enjoying the experiences. Y'all are communicating regularly. He's texting you. The smart guys, the ones that have the confidence, will be opening up and sharing parts of his life with you. And that's what those guys use to actually get women to like them. They not trying to use a facade or use no game. They letting you know what they got going on, how they move, letting you peep game, and just putting you in position to go to Pound Town. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pound Town is for you, boo. It ain't for me. It's for you. I'm trying to help you out. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Terry, explain something to me, man. Explain something to me. Explain this free market dating system thing, this free market theory or whatever it is that you have. Explain that to me.
Well, I think my theory on how the dating market being a free market system, it kind of has two extreme impacts. You have the people that struggle because they're undesired, whether it be their personality, their physical appearance, etc. And then you have this kind of adverse effect on the very desired, the men and the women. The women and the men that fit in that category they're so spoiled with their dating success and the ease with what they get people to like them, that they become extremely picky, and it becomes more and more difficult for them to actually choose someone long term, because there becomes this, I'm going to find somebody better, or I'm going to miss out on something better. It kind of, I guess that would be a natural thing if you living like that. But that's my theory on, or at least what I see with my friends that are very successful, men and women.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think that really applies to women though, that I think about it. I think it applies more to men, because women, I don't think women meet men that they feel like are quality options like that. Like if they did, I think that most of them, they would be in relationships. If they actually met men like that, because most women desire relationships and marriage.
Yep.
If they actually had those infinite options that were quality like that, they would jump on it and be like,
well, I disagree with that.
Up.
I don't think they can recognize them. I don't think, based off how most women make their dating decisions, I don't think women could really identify what's going to be a solid, good husband and who's just going to be a good time. So a lot of the guys women curve, like we were saying earlier, a lot of the times women curve guys that are good husbands, that would look just like all that he would have to do is buy a different outfit, and her perception of him will be drastically different. So that's to me that's a flaw in their dating.
But this is what I'm saying, and I should have said the men they actually like, right? If they had those options of those guys that actually wanted relationships from them, then okay, I would go with what you're saying. But most of them don't. They have decent options. They just don't like those options that actually want to give them relationships. The men, on the other hand, most men like that don't desire relationships the way women do. They don't have the desperation to get into relationships and to get married like women do. So men can have some quality options there and still have the patience and wherewithal to be like, you know what? You know, it's certain things about Shorty, I can be a little more patient and see if something else comes along, because in my opinion, you know, it's just more, you know, women like that are ready for relationships and marriage that are nice women like that. It's just a matter for that guy of honing in and getting what fits him best. The women don't even have those options to see what fits them best. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so from the guy perspective, and I guess you can chime in on this too, Jay. How much would y'all say that the territorialness of not wanting another dude to be smashing the chick you like, how much of that do you think comes into play when you meet a chick that you like and you know she wants a relationship, but you know there's that conflict where do you give her what she wants or allow her to be for the streets?
Ooh, that's tough.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, that's tough right there because you're kind of having an episode, I guess, mixed emotions for lack of better description. Because on one hand, if you're getting serious, you like the woman, you want to hold it down, and you don't even want to think of nobody else smashing this chick, right? But if you're somebody that still wants to, I guess, play the field, play the streets there, that's a tough decision you got to make. Listen, I would say this. Look, if that's what you want to do, then I would say, hey, it's fair to let her be. It's not fair to hold her hostage and you still want to be out there. That's my take on it.
Yeah, and I don't believe in that holding hostage stuff. I don't believe in that. Because these women can walk away at any time they want to walk away. It is not up to the guy to leave you alone as a woman. It's up to you. You have free reign to walk away at any time, just like
give up all them benefits you get from messing with dudes.
Yeah, it's not his responsibility to walk away from you. He's enjoying what y'all got going on. If you don't, then you move around and you go ahead about your business. But if I really like Shorty, I'm gonna get with Shorty. Listen, we've been rocking like this for 3-4 months. I'm gonna need you to, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and lock the rest of these fools up out of here. Get them out of here. I want you to be mine. I want you to, like, if you really rocking with her, like, no, I don't want you. I don't want nobody else to be up in here. This is for me. So
see, I was gonna say it's been so long. I wonder, do people officially ask to be like, I want you to be my girl? Like, do you have to officially?
Ask her. Yeah, if I don't ask her, she ain't my lady.
Well, I'm going to a lot of times, if you just start spending time and being, communicating daily, a lot of people just go with the assumption or the gray area or doing relationship stuff. You know how we get to all these.
Once you start hitting raw, that's when y'all know automatically. Like, nah, man. I'm
Situationship Boulevard.
No, I'm asking the woman because I don't want no misunderstanding. I don't want no confusion.
That's smart.
Confusion. So I'm gonna ask you and see how you feel about this. Like, yo, this is what I'm thinking. This is how I'm feeling. What do you think about that? And then see what she says, and then we'll go from there. I'm not just gonna assume we in a relationship because I put my thumb in a butt. Like, no, we're not doing that, because that's where it gets confusing, because the woman might start treating the dude, or the dude might start treating the woman like they is what, where you going? Who you going with? What time you coming back? And then that conversation is like, why you asking me that? Boom, now here go the issue. You thought wrong. You never asked me to be your woman. You never asked me to be your man. So I'm single until then. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like assumptions and stuff like that when it comes to that. If I don't ask you to be my woman, you are not my woman.
Well, there are still fellas, there are still women out there that have a, if we have sex, we go together philosophy on dating.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can tell they crazy from the get-go. You can tell they crazy already. That's why you got to talk to them.
What you mean we go together? Like,
yeah,
we're not in elementary. But I definitely agree, man. The transparency is, like I said, that once I figured out that being transparent and being honest, that is always a great tool to use as a guy. You know what I mean? Like, and I learned it in a, unethical way, being a side dude. But that allowed me to be totally brutally honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Like I could talk to them about just all kind of stuff. Like, you ain't my girl. I'm just hitting it as many times as I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to keep things cool, keep y'all relationship happy. And just think, that was planting the seed for me to become Terry Duran. You know what I mean?
He's a menace, man. He a menace to society. Hey, man, I'm just saying. So, hey, listen, what percentage of people do y'all think really desire to be married today?
Are you saying both for men or women, or just both in general?
No. Give me one for men and one for women, and then I'll give you the survey numbers that I did. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say 80%. I'm gonna go say about 80% of the women want a relationship to be married. I'll say for the men, I'm gonna go 50.
Oh, that's a lot higher than I was gonna go. I agree. Probably 80 to 90% of women actually want to be married. But I'd say, based off the conversations I have with guys, I'd say it's probably around 20% of guys actually want to get married still.
Sheesh, man. You know what? When I did my surveys, I think it was like 95% of women, 96 said they want to get married, single women, and then it was like 80% of men, single men,
For real?
said, "Hey, yeah, that they." And actually, if you look at the studies, if you Google this, men say that they want relationships and marriage more than women. If you actually Google the studies, if I'm not mistaken, at least for Black men and women. But a lot of times you cannot listen to that, because when these women are asked for these surveys and different things, they say things to make it sound like, oh no,
good.
I don't want to get, yes, like they say, oh, the single women is the most happy. Well, they ask these women, what you think these women gonna say out here to make it seem like they don't need a man and I don't want a man? They gonna say, yeah, I'm happy. I'm extremely happy shoveling my own snow and changing my own oil and doing all this. Like, they're gonna lie about it in the moment, because women speak with feelings, and a lot of them speak with feelings and don't incorporate the logical parts of it to actually think about what they're saying, the logic behind it, and then give an answer. So you have to take what women say in a lot of different things with a grain of salt, because they be lying through their teeth. Sorry, it is.
Oh man, that was funny, but very accurate, SD. All right, man. Looks like we are up against the clock, y'all. We about to get up out of here. But before we go, man, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced for our background music. I want to remind y'all to continue supporting the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. J and SD, man, I appreciate y'all linking up so we can get this episode knocked out. This has been another episode of the Hold a Husband podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.